In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you how you can create vexel portrait or also known as cartoon effect using Photoshop. So let's get started. So what's up guys, Thrul here, and as you can see this is the final output, and for this I'm going to use this stock image that I found on deviantart.com, and if you want to use the same image, the download link is in video description, so feel free to use it. Now, before I start the tutorial, I would like to clear up some things. I'm not going to actually teach you how to use pen tool. If you want to learn how to use pen tool, click here on this box. This is separate tutorial only and only focusing on how to use pen tool. Second thing, I'm not actually going to create entire portrait because that will take hours. Instead, I will divide it in couple of parts and teach you only the important things that you need to know. And one important note is reason why I am using shape tool, because you can make them as big as possible. So basically at the end of the video I will show you how you can take your this resolution image and turn it into this kind of resolution image, and you can click photo with your freaking Nokia 3300 and you can still make it ultra high resolution as long as you use your shape tool. So keep watching till the end. So let's go back to our original file here. So as you can see, this is the model. So number one thing is that what to start first. So when you are creating normal human portrait, I would recommend start with the hair. I mean, you can start from anywhere if you want, but if you start from hair, it just makes your job a little bit easier if you are a beginner. So first of all, we will start with hair. Now I have selected my pen tool, and you can choose your shape option from here, and after that you don't need to actually create new layer, because when you start clicking with pen tool, see, it automatically creates a new layer as you can see here. So I'm gonna go and start creating the shape. I normally use white color and then change it to whatever I want to use, but it's totally up to you, like you can use whatever color you want. So let's go and start to create shapes as you can see, and always closing the handles. When creating the hair, make sure that you get all the details right, like take your time, take your sweet time, like seriously man, don't rush it, because it will also help you to save time in your face features and also a little bit on your hands. Now here's the thing, right? When you have situation like this, you actually can't see what is going on. So you can go and decrease the opacity of your shape. So now you can see like where you actually need to put your dots and stuff like that. So as you can see, we created sort of basic shape of hair, but I would recommend going in more details. So once your shape is done, you make the opacity to full 100%, and then you turn this thing off, and then you double click here, so it will open up the what do you call your color picker tool. And reason we turn the eye off on this, so that we can see this pink color properly. And then I will select it, I will hit OK. So as you can see, it changed the color to the pink, and now we have really good pink hair. And now you can just change it to whatever shade you need. It's totally up to you. So that's one handy tip. So now hair is done. Now I told you that you have to spend as much time as you can on creating the hair. Why? Because now we automatically created almost half 90% of the face. So now when we try to create the face, all we have to do is create her chin. Now before we move on, always rename your layers. Like seriously, I cannot like force it enough on this thing. Hair. Good. And once this is done, we can start focusing on what do you call it, your face. So I'm gonna go and start working on face now. Now it's getting a little confusing because everything is pink, so you can midway go and change the color. So for now let's keep it white. And now once this portion is done, all you have to do is just click, 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 and just fill up your area and close your gap here. Now all you have to do now is put your face under your hair like that, and see, now the face is ready. So now I'm gonna go and rename it to face. And what do? We turn off the eye icon so we can see the color. We double click, and with the picker tool you can pick any color you want. So I'm gonna go with nice skin color. Yeah, that looks good. Hit OK, and now we can turn it on, and as you can see, so this looks amazing. So basic structure looks really good, and now we can start focusing on one of the most important parts. Those are eyes and nose, like they are the most important. So we will start with the eyes, and to do that we will have to shut off the face layer. So let's turn this off so we can see the eyes properly. Now to create eyes, we will always start with the tracing out the outline. So I'm gonna go and start tracing out the outline, sorry. So the tracing of the eye is done, and we will go and turn it white. So that looks really good. Now we have to create the inner parts, the iris and stuff. So I'm gonna go and turn off the opacity to, let's say, somewhere around 10%. That seems good. Now turn this off and see, her eye has a little bit of a blue type shade, as you can see here from this lighting, from this eye. So I'm gonna go and turn this on. Now to create that round part, you don't have to waste time with pen tool. You can go here, right click and select your ellipse tool. It will also allow you to create a perfect round. Now to make sure it doesn't go wobbly like this, hold your shift key, and now you can make it as big as you want, right? So that looks good. Now select your move tool and move it exactly here. Now press Ctrl T, hold down your shift key and make it bigger. Big enough so that it covers the iris completely, right? A little bit more, and that's good. Now go and confirm it. And now we will change it to somewhere around blue. No, that's gray. So let's go and try to turn it blue. Yeah, that's a bit hazel type color. Yeah, that looks good. So go and confirm it. And now we will go and there's this shape one. So we will make its opacity to 100%. And now the circle is going a little bit outside. So what do is make sure your circle is top of your white part. You right click and you select create clipping mask. So now it won't go outside. So that's one advantage. So this looks good, and we can create the inner black part. So to do that, first of all, you go and make a copy of it and press Ctrl J. So it will make a copy of it. You double click on it and you change its color to black. That's good. Now you press Ctrl T and make it a little bit smaller. And again, to make sure it doesn't go outside, you right click and you select create clipping mask. So it won't go outside at all. Now, as you can see, there's this little white dot that gives the highlight and also a little bit depth in your eye. So to create that, again, you have this black round already. So press Ctrl J, make a copy of it, double click, and this time we will turn it white. Hit OK, press Ctrl T, hold down your shift key and make it extremely smaller. Yeah, so that looks good. Now this is good, but if I turn my the face layer on, it looks like it is missing something, and that is the outlines. So to create them, first of all, let's go right click and create clipping mask. So we have the white part and the iris and stuff all ready. So you hold down your control key and you click on everything like this, and then you press Ctrl G. So the eye is in its separate group, so you can manage it better, and it is extremely important to do it. Okay, do not ignore this thing. So double click and let's name it eye. Good. Now we can turn on the group here, and to create the outlines, create a new layer, select your pen tool and make sure it is shape, and in the color, let's make it black. Yeah. So now what you do is make sure your layer is at the bottom. It should be under your white shape, as you can see here. And now you go and you create your single stroke like this. Now it's time for the down part. So this time we will try to add little bit more details. So to do that, we will again create a new blank layer and make sure it is under our white part. So now I'm gonna go and start creating the details like this, a little bit more. And once your eye is done, make sure that both of your shape layers, they are also in this group. So you hold down your control key, you select both of them, or not this one, and you put them in the group like this. So now when I turn off the eye, see, now it is really easy to manage and everything is in your sight. So as you guys can see, I simply duplicated this eye here and I created a simple eyebrow shape, and this eyebrow is covered under the hair. So we can focus on the nose now. So I'm gonna turn off the face layer. Okay, that's ultra level creepy. Let's turn off everything. So, and also this one. So this is the basic, our original face. So to create nose, first of all, let's go and create a new blank layer, and I'm gonna name it nose, so we don't get lost. So nose is here and I have my pen tool ready, and for nose you have to make sure that it is black color or something extremely dark near to the black. So in creating the nose, don't go and create the entire nose. No, all you have to do is just create few simple outlines. How to do that? Let me show you. Okay, we have this a little bit darker part here, right? So I'm gonna go and create a shape a little bit something like this, and I'm gonna close it down here a little bit here like that, and that seems perfect. And hit your enter key and that's confirmed. So now that is ready. Now you can go and create this portion here. So what do, you go and start making, don't make it complete, okay, leave this little bit space here, it will give it, it looks better this way. So I'm gonna go and fill up this parts. So as you can see, we simply created the basic outline of the nose, and I'm gonna now make the opacity to 100%. Let's zoom out, and now when we turn on the face and eyes and everything, now it looks a little bit better. Now I haven't done really good job, I will admit that, but here's what you can do actually. So you can see that these two layers, they are for the nose. So you select both of them and then you press Ctrl E. So your nose is on single layer, and now I can go and simply just call it nose. So I will put on the lips so you can get the idea like how your nose will look in final output. So now you guys can see that with lips, it doesn't look that bad. So I would just simply recommend that you make your nose after creating the lips so you can get the better idea. Now after that, as you can see, this is simple plain background. So I'm gonna go and create a new blank layer, put it in bottom, at absolute bottom here, like this. Get my paint bucket tool and make sure my color is white. And this is the white background. So we can get the basic idea like how overall output is going on. So now we can turn off this thing and turn on this thing and turn everything off. So this way you guys know that we first of all created hair, then we created the face, and always make sure that face is under your hair. Then we created eye, which has to be on top of your face. Then we used the same eye on the other side, add a little bit of eyebrows. We created the nose shape, but I will recommend creating the lips first, then you go for the nose. So this is looking really nice, and rest is pretty simple, like creating the dress and hands, like that's just the way we did with hair and face, nothing new in that. What I actually want to teach you is how to create background once you are done with your portrait. So I'm gonna go and switch to my final output and I will show you how to create an interesting background. So this is my final output. As you can see, I added a little bit of more details and I have separate group for everything so I can manage it easily. Now you will probably have this simple white background and it looks okay, but you can make it interesting if you want. So from this we will try to make it look something like this, a little bit of color, lighting, and then we will also add a little bit of shadows. Let's put it on top so we can see a little bit of shadow so it looks even better. So we will go from this to this. Now I also have the reference file here, so it has greenish color, right? Your image can have any color. So to do that, first of all you go and create a new solid color here and make it any color. Let's go and make it green because we have green, right? Hit OK. You can also turn on this thing here. Now you can again double click and you can copy color from here, but it's not giving us really good output. So I'm gonna go and try to use my own instinct and go for any color. So this looks good and I'm gonna simply go and hit OK. And let's turn this off for a while. So we changed the color of the background. Now we can add the lighting. So to do that, double click on your layer and then you go and create what do you call gradient overlay. And in gradient overlay, from normal to change it to soft light, and then what do you call your style, then change it to radial and make it reverse. So we have bright spot here, and then you make the scale as big as possible, just like that. And you can also decrease the opacity if you want a little less effective. So that is really nice, and simply hit OK. Now we can start creating the shadow, and that's actually pretty simple. All you have to do is make sure all the background layers are turned off and you have your model on this transparent background, right? Now once everything is turned off, you have to select your group 1 or whatever layer is on the top, okay? That is important. Select whatever layer is on the top. Then press Ctrl, Alt, Shift and E. So this way you will have a copy of your model just like this, right? Which we can use for shadow. So this copy here. Now I'm gonna go to my image, adjustment, and then I will go to hue saturation, and then I will make the lightness to -100%. Hit OK. So now we have silhouette of that, and put this on exact top of this background layer, right? Now turn this on and select your shadow layer, and we can put it here like this. Exactly. If you want to change the perspective, press Ctrl T, hold your Control key and change the perspective a little bit if you want. It's totally up to you. Just like that. And now I can go and confirm this thing. After that, you have to make it a little bit blurry. So you can right click and select convert to smart object. If you have old version of Photoshop, just simply skip this step. Then you go to filter, blur, and then you go to Gaussian blur. Add a little bit of blur, not too much, okay? I think this looks nice. Hit OK. And then change its opacity until it looks really good. So I'm gonna go and change the opacity to, let's say, 20% or something like that. So this is the final output, and here comes the important part that I promised you in the beginning, that how you can turn your low resolution image into high resolution. And to do that, let's go back to the original terrible file that we started here. So as you can see, here we created this thing, and if I zoom in, it looks pretty terrible, right? And why? Because if we go to our image size, where in image size, it's really low. It's only 1100 by 800. But what we can do is we can select all of our shape layers. As you can see, hit Control key and select all of them like that. Everything is selected. Then you press Control G, so you put it in a single group, just so that it is really easier to manage, like this. After that, you go to file and you create a new document. Now you can make it as big as possible. So I'm gonna go, let's go something ridiculous. Let's go to 4000 and in the height, I don't know, let's go 3000 like that. And resolution is also pretty high, as you can see, 240. Hit OK. So now what do? You take this thing and you take it out like in floating window, right? And then you go to make sure you have selected your move tool, and make sure this untitled one that we created is active, right? So our original is in floating window and this is in the background. So select this one, make sure you have selected your move tool, and then you go and drag this group and you drop it here. And then you go and simply minimize this thing, whatever. Now it is really small, right? But all you have to do is just press Ctrl T and make it bigger, like as big as you want, like that, and confirm it. And now when we zoom it, as you can see, we have those crazy details. Just look at the comparison. Where's this one? This one. And let's go and zoom in here. As you can see, do you see the difference? That is because it's a shape layer. You can make it as big as you want and it will never have any problem. Now you just simply go in here, and after that all you have to do is go to File, go to Save, and in the Save option you can simply go and select your JPG, or you can go and select your PDF option if you want to print it. And you can print it in the size of a building and it will have no problem because it's the shape layer. So that's one thing you can do. So let's go back and look at the output, how it looks like. We just created. And one important thing that I forgot about is when you will create your face and the body, it will at first look something like this. So as you can see, it blends really crazily with body and doesn't look that good. So for that solution, always select your face layer here, and there you have option. When you select your pen tool and you have shape here, you will have option for stroke. So in the stroke, go and give it a little bit of a stroke, like not too heavy, somewhere around like 0.25, looks good. And now when you go and look at this, so now it will separate it a little bit from each other and it's better to look at, nothing else. So that's it for this video, and it seems a little bit difficult because it actually is a little difficult. Even for me, it was really tough to record this tutorial. So you get the idea, and I really hope that you guys learned something from this video, and if you did, hit that like button. And if you have any kind of questions or confusion, which you will probably have, feel free to ask me in comment section below. Till then, goodbye, take care, and have some fun with Photoshop.